today we're going to show you how to put up a four-sided L-frame plantation shutter. What I've done is I already have assembled the frame, put it together, and I've started my two pilot screws for where I'm going to be attaching it onto the window to begin with. Now keep in mind I've already laid out all my hardware where I'll need it, so it'll make the job go nice and quick. First thing you want to do, I have a sill that I'm working with. So I go ahead and center the frame up along the window. Attach one side. There, just snug that up just a little bit. We're going to leave the bottom alone because we want to go ahead and set the panels into place so we can then properly square them up on the window. And put the third pin into place. And then open that up and we're going to hang the other panel. Now when I'm doing these, it's my preference to go ahead and put the top pin in first, because then once that top pin is in, it's all secured, and it leaves your other hands to work with. Once we get all the pins inserted, we want to check how the panels are closing. If they're even down at the bottom, one thing I like to do is pull them off of the frame so they're hanging freely, and just see how the bottoms line up before you go ahead and push it into place. Alright, that looks about square, but what we're going to do now is just make sure we hold this frame into position. Grab two more screws. And put the other one in. Alright, now we'll check how they close, make sure we're right on target still. Seems to be doing pretty good. Last thing I'm going to do is shore up the center here. The screws I'm using is a #1 square drive, sometimes called Robertson, but nice short screw. You're only going through about 3/4 of an inch of the framing material before you get into what you're mounting into. Now, one thing you want to do, close it again. Seems like my gap at the top is just a hair wider than it is down at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is, they have included the shims come with all frame shutters. And what we're going to do is just back out. They fit behind the hinge plate on the shutter panel itself. So I'm just going to back off those screws. Shim in there. That seemed to close that gap nicely. So the final step is, the only thing I want to do now is put another screw in the hinge link to keep the shutters from floating around. So we'll go ahead and run that in. And I do the same thing on the other side, but hanging your shutters is just that easy. Thank you.